Hey everyone, Monday's practice problems for September 23rd. So don't forget, we're using tables and we're using division really to find unit rate. Doesn't mean you can't use multiplication as well, so we'll talk about different steps, different strategies for these. So the first one is about the hippopotamus. And the hippopotamus, it says about the hippopotamus, if I can find the problem, that it can run 6 kilometers in 15 minutes. At this rate, how far can the hippopotamus run in 1 minute? So we want to have kilometers and minutes. Those will be our two labels. And the information that they give us is it goes 16 kilometers in 15 minutes. So how far can the hippopotamus run in 1 minute? So there are a couple ways you could do this. You could try to go right from 15 to 1. I mean, obviously you want to get it to be 1 minute, but sometimes it's not that easy. So you can always look for common factors amongst the numbers in a column, in a table, and then divide by that common factor to get them lower. So if you look at 6 and 15, something that fits into both 6 and 15 equally would be 3. So if you divided both of these numbers by 3, you would get 2 and 5. And now it's a little bit easier to go from 5 to 1. You know you just have to divide by 5. So if you also divide the 2 by 5, you could leave it as a fraction. So it would go 2/5 of a kilometer in 1 minute, okay? So whenever you're dividing numbers, remember all fractions are tiny division problems. If you're dividing 2 by 5 and you're unsure of what the decimal is or how to do the math, you could always keep it as a fraction, 2/5. And you could use that chart that I gave you, the fractions, decimals, and percents. Do it now, look at 2/5, see what it equals as a percent, okay? All right, that was number 1. The next few here, I'm just gonna help you a little bit with number 2, and then 3 and 4, I'm just gonna like set up for you a little bit and not really do as much. So number 2, Imena earned $261 last week. If she worked 18 hours and earned the same amount each hour, how much was she paid per hour? So we're dealing with dollars and hours, money earned over a certain amount of hours. So she earned $261 and it was over 18 hours. So we want to find out how much she gets paid per hour for every 1 hour, okay? So there's something else you could do if you're always looking for unit rate. If you can get a 2, that's almost as useful as getting a 1 in the column for hours in this case. Because when you get a 2, all you have to do is cut the 2, that row, all you have to do is cut it in half to get the 1. So to get a 1 here, you'd have to divide both sides by 18. That may be a little difficult here, but to get a 2, you could divide both sides by 9, okay? So 18, if you divide that by 9, it becomes 2. And if you divide 261 by 9, it does come out evenly, it equals 29. So at this point, we know that she earns $29 for every 2 hours she works. I'm gonna leave the last part up to you. You figure out how much does she earn per hour. Number 3, a cat's heart beats approximately 45 times in 15 seconds. So heartbeats in seconds. About how many times does the cat's heart beat per second? So we've got 45 heartbeats, 15 seconds. Common factor, find a common factor for 15 and 45. You know that 5 should fit into both of them. There's actually something bigger that fits into both of them. So come up with that common factor to get it lower on your way to getting a 1. Some of you might be able to do this in one step. Some of you might have to find that common factor. If they both end in 5, we should know what could fit into both 45 and 15. All right, use that to help you. And then the last one, Mr. Farley, maybe Chris Farley, used 4 pounds of hamburger to make 10 hamburger patties of the same size. So we have pounds of hamburger and we have patties. And it takes 4 pounds of hamburgers to make 10 patties. So how many pounds of hamburger did he use per patty? So on this one, per patty, you want to get to 10 to become a 1. And on this one, again, find a common factor. Find something that fits into both 4 and 10. They're both even numbers. So what you could probably do here is divide both sides by 2. All right, you want to eventually get a 1 down here in the pounds. So how many pounds of hamburger did he use per patty? Per patty means for every 1 patty. So some of you might be able to do this in one step as well. All right, dividing by 10, what happens to the decimal point? We've talked about that a little bit. Okay, all right. See you tomorrow.